Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your second to last match on this stream of the day from the Asia. RNG Esports versus TnC Gaming. TnC have yet to win a series, or to win a game rather. RNG Esports, despite not having Mushi, they are actually undefeated thus far and have looked very strong, moving their way swiftly through the group and in strong position to possibly even take first place for TnC. The only Filipino representative, which obviously, I mean, we all know the Pinoys have very fervent fans, so a lot at stake for them. If nothing else, it'll be about pride. If they want to have a shot at moving on, they gotta win this game. I'm your host, LD, joined here today by Merlini. Merlini, you're still awake. You're still moving. You ready for this game?
Of course.
Well, looks pretty standard so far. We see TA, Mag, Darkseer, Undying, pretty standard bans from both teams. What are we left with in the pool?
Looks like Bat. Wisp, although is not favored as much by Eastern teams. What did we see last game? Sven, of course. I'm not really sure how this draft is going to go yet.
Yeah, generally with Orange Esports, they tend to pick normally two carries. We don't normally see them with just that one hard carry, so we'll see something mid, like a TA, I would say. KYXY played that earlier today. With Mushi not playing for the team, KYXY has been normally taking that solo mid role. Yamate sort of the safe lane farmer. TnC are going to open up with the Bat. It is a very strong opening, a pretty versatile pick. Doesn't really tip your hands as far as the lanes go. And I'm very curious to see how Orange respond to this one. If they want those strong solos, Queen of Pain is another hero that this team loves to run. KYXY also known for his Invoker play, Yamate for his Shadow Fiend. Would they pick those heroes up this early? Probably not, but those are options at some point if they look to go that route.
They do need a hero. I'm not sure whether they're planning on doing Batrider mid or Batrider jungle, but he's very potent force middle. Magnus is pretty good versus him, but he's already been banned. Darkseer is the other strong option, and he is also banned.
They get their hands on the Queen of Pain, and it's not a bad matchup versus Bat, but both heroes are definitely going to farm.
Next, we see an early Shadow Demon pickup. Shadow Demon is one of the best supports in the game. He did not get nerfed in the most recent patch, unlike THD, so we'll probably see him picked up a lot. We see him picked fairly often. He's just very, very good. If someone gets lassoed, he can just disrupt the Batrider, so Batrider can't bring him back to his team. His skills are just very, very good, even against BKB. If BKB hero carry just focuses on someone, you can just disrupt them. His ultimate goes through BKB. Just a very, very strong support overall.
Yeah, very versatile, and there was a point where he was played fairly frequently as a solo mid. I think that was during your hiatus from Dota, but not something we see anymore. He's so much better as a support because he doesn't really scale that well with items. Sure, he can dominate a lane 1v1, but just offers you a lot more as a support. And against single target initiation, single target focus type heroes, and melee carries, like you mentioned with the Demonic Purge going through BKB, he really excels in that position. One hero that we often see paired up with Batrider is Lifestealer. It's just, I think it's the ideal Lifestealer bomb. You can go for the Storm. We saw that, I think it was yesterday. It was attempted at least, and didn't really work out quite as well as they had hoped, but not going to go for it at the moment. TnC getting aggressive. Night Stalker, Jakiro, so much burst damage and a lot of lockdown. And that silence can really help you to tower dive. Suddenly, Disruption isn't available because you're silenced. Queen of Pain can't blink away. But this pick, Night Stalker doesn't really farm that well, so it's really going to come down to that 5 to 15 minute mark for TnC to see if they can find some openings.
Next, we see a Rubik pickup from Orange. TnC's lanes are very flexible right now. Night Stalker can be babysat in the safe lane. He can solo middle, so he can get those fast levels for the ganks at the first nighttime. Batrider can be jungle, middle, off lane. They still have a lot of options open. A lot of options for them at this point.
Yeah, I'm really curious where they go. RNG Sports, they did go for 2 supports now, which means it's going to be carries mostly that TnC is looking to ban out. Carries as well as potentially a solo. We'll see where Orange goes. They have been known to favor heroes like Prophet from time to time and just abandon that suicide lane. It's something I think the Asian teams do even more than the Western teams. They're comfortable to give it up as long as it's not a really strong pushing tri-lane that can quickly take 2 towers unopposed. And, well, we'll see if that's what comes out from either team for the moment. On the side of TnC, also no real hard carry, but they do have some farm-dependent heroes. Not ultra farm-dependent, but somewhat with the Bat and the Night Stalker. So I don't think we'll see a hard carry. I think we'll probably see some sort of a semi-carry from them.
So we see a Sven, a Naga ban, Bounty Hunter, and Luna. So many carries recently banned, and Faceless Void.
Interesting. They ban out the Void. It is a hero that Orange run occasionally, but I'm not... Yeah, I guess it is kind of a concern for them. They get it off the pool. What do you...
I'm not exactly sure about this Rubik pickup. I mean, Night Stalker doesn't really have any devastating spells that you can steal. Jakiro's all his spells are pretty good, and Bat Rider, you know, unless you time it very well, you're probably going to get Napalm, and Flame Break is not that game breaking, especially without any sticky Napalm stacks. So Rubik is a so-so hero versus Bat Rider and Night Stalker. He's decent versus Jakiro, but you know, usually you want to steal those big ultimates. You know, Magnus, Reverse Polarity, Enigma, Black Hole. Song of the Siren, if you can, Eclipse, Chronosphere, and most of those heroes are already banned, so I'm surprised to see this early Rubik pickup.
Yeah, it's, well, I mean, he gets some... I think the big one to steal here is Ice Path, but it's not as strong of a spell now because, I mean, the nerf for Jakiro in some ways is just going to help Orange this game. Although normally you see it max first, so we'll see. By the time you spell steal, that Jakiro may be level 6 or 7 anyway. But Ice Path doesn't do as much damage at the early levels. I think that's the only real big one. Lasso, you don't want to be in close to this TnC team, especially near a gyrocopter. He just brings you down so fast with Rocket Barrage. They've got a lot of setup for him too. That's the one thing gyrocopter really needs is setup. He's got above average base move speed. It was buffed, I think, 2 patches ago to 315, but that missile's so easy to just run away from, and I like this pick. I think it gives them, you know, someone who can get active and really synergize well with the other heroes, but can scale pretty well towards the late game.
Yeah, they have a very well-rounded lineup right now. TnC does. They have good ganks in the form of Bat Rider, Night Stalker, decent late game. Night Stalker can fare okay if he has a decent early mid. Gyrocopter is very strong late game. Jakiro scales well all game, and he's very good in laning phase 2 and can be a good babysitter. So they have a very well-rounded lineup. Good, decent laning, decent late game, decent ganks.
I wonder what Orange has their eyes on. In Dota 1, at SMM, Orange was picking Tiny time and again. There's a Wisp in the pool. They could go for Tiny Wisp. I'm not sure if that's something they would do in Dota 2. I haven't really seen them play Wisp too often. And TnC, I feel they have heroes that could really punish that pick. If they wanted to go aggressive tri-lane, Gyrocopter Jakiro +1 is pretty potent. I mean, it's not the best tri-lane in the world, but it could work. Night Stalker's decent in the tri-lane as well. There you go. It will be the Tiny. I wonder if they think about Wisp for this last pick.
Tiny's a pretty good pickup at this point. They do need some late game. Tiny's very good, especially versus Night Stalker late game. Any sort of melee hero, he just, you know, kind of just dominates. The Craggies is very hard to deal with, and you're forced to get a BKB if you want to fight him in team fights. And then because you're forced to go BKB, and most of the times Tiny isn't, he just out damages you very hard.
Yeah, and you can get a BKB, which will prevent that Crag exterior from affecting you, but you know, it's just it's an item that you don't want to have to build late game, and there's still Demonic Purge to kind of control you anyway. Earthshaker, the final choice. Wow, they have essentially double Fissure between Ice Path as well as Fissure, and we may see it. I almost want to say aggressive tri-lane. Tiny's not really that strong in the laning phase, and I think this could work pretty well against Orange.
Yeah, I believe so too. Probably looks like Night Stalker mid, Bat Rider and off, and maybe a triple lane. They have a lot of flexibility. Like if Gyro has a very easy lane, Earthshaker and Jakiro can just roam around, maybe pick up Night Stalker, a couple easy kills. Bat Rider is decent in lane too. They can try and help him out a little bit. So, you know, they can mix and match as needed. They're not really hard set in their lanes as it is right now.
You know, it's funny how you mentioned there weren't that many good spells to steal for Rubik, because they just gave them one of the best in Fissure. And something even at level 1 that's very scary to deal with, even if that Earthshaker's quite underleveled. Wow, interesting draft. Is Orange going to go for the Wisp? For me, that's the big question.
Right. Orange has a fairly well-rounded lineup as well. They have very good AoE, Quap, Rubik, Tiny, a very decent amount of AoE. Quap and Tiny scale well late game, and they have good ganks. Looks like a Furion last pick.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about the Wisp is they already have Shadow Demon and they have Rubik, so that it would put Rubik probably in a farming role mid, and then Queen of Pain to the off lane. And Queen of Pain's not really the best off laner. She is a little bit farm dependent, really needs to start that snowball going. So they opt for the Prophet, and I won't be surprised at all if we see him just abandon that lane. TnC, not really an amazing pushing lineup, but if the lane's empty, they could push it fairly easily. So we may just see Prophet in the jungle. I wonder if we'll see even something like what we saw yesterday from Navi, which is, you know, pulling him to clarity, starting with Gloves of Haste and just rushing that really quick Midas. I don't think so. It's not something Orange has done, but it was pretty cute in that matchup.
Ended in a 20-minute win with those really fast miners. I think Scylla Bear got his in 4 or 5 minutes. Same with Furion.
Can't argue with results. Well, that probably won't be something we see this game, but let's introduce the players. We do have a moment here, as there's a disconnect coming out right now. Ice playing that support Shadow Demon, Yamate on the Tiny. Again, for everybody who's been asking, where's Mushi, where's Mushi, where's Mushi? He's not here, guys. He's not playing for Orange in this tournament. In spite of that, though, they are undefeated in the group stages so far and in prime position to take first place in their group, and that seed will make the difference. A very unforgiving playoff format, single elimination, best out of ones in the semifinals, then the grand finals, only best out of 3. So getting first place means you have probably an easier matchup in that first playoff match tomorrow, assuming they get there. I don't want to get ahead of myself, though, but Yamate on that Tiny, KYXY on the Queen of Pain, looks to be going solo mid. Extinct on the support Rubik, and by the way, keep an eye on Extinct because he has some really impressive Rubik play. He's had a lot of flashy moments, and there are some good spells to steal. No Enigma Black Hole, no Crone or anything crazy like that, but decent ones. Last but not least, we have WW, who I believe stood in for Orange when they were playing Heroes of New Earth. Or he's a Heroes of New Earth player who stood in for them at SMM, and he's continued to play with them here in place of Mushi.
So it looks like we have SD already headed top. He has sentries to de-ward his spawn and observer ward, so it's probably an aggressive lane top. Looks like Tiny and SD, that disrupt plus soul catcher and then into the avalanche toss will probably spell a very quick demise for any one of TnC's solo offlaners if they do solo the offlane.
And it's a good combo to set up a kill on a hero like Batrider, who's normally very elusive, but with that disruption, you're not just slowed, you're guaranteed to be sitting absolutely still. It makes it easy to get in position for that Avalanche Toss combo. Speaking of Batrider, let's introduce TnC. We have Jesse Vash. He's going to be playing that offlane bat. He started with the Stout Shield. Jesse Vash, one of my personal favorite players. Such a nice guy. Rooting for him in this one. Ryo on the Night Stalker solo mid. He's going to be rushing a really aggressive eco build. Only 2 branches. I think he's even pulled the Tangos, so just going for the ultra fast bottle. No, my math's wrong. He was not pulled the Tangos. What am I talking about? But Fox playing that Twin-Headed Dragon. Has Observer Wards. They're not going aggressive. I thought maybe they might with Shaker, Twin-Headed Dragon, and Gyro, but choosing not to. Chen, or Cast, as he's also known, the captain of this TnC squad, playing the Earthshaker, and Ninja Boogie, formerly of Dustbin, he'll be playing the Gyrocopter in the safe lane.
Yeah, so it looks like triple lane bottom for TnC with Gyro, ES, and Jakiro's headed down there right now. Solo mid is Night Stalker probably versus a Quap. We may have some action top. We see SD pick up the Illusion Rune, and Jesse Vash is probably going to go the long way around. He is actually headed into the Dire Jungle right now.
Are they looking at a first blood attempt? You're not killing Queen of Pain. Not sure what he's up to.
Right, Queen of Pain has not skilled yet, which is very smart. As a Quap solo mid, you really need to make sure that you don't skill Shadow Strike if you are in any danger of dying. It can lead to an early first blood simply because you don't have Blink. The harassing power is decent at level 1, but you can just wait 1 creep wave. And the potential of just giving up that first blood simply because you don't have Blink is just too big of a risk to take.
Ooh, this is going to hurt Quap, though. She fails her block, doesn't get that front creep, and it means Night Stalker on the high ground. This can make a big difference, especially because he's rushing that bottle. Oh, WW dropping really low, the Fissure from a low ground. How did they start off with all that damage? Totally missed that one. This is not something you see. The offlane Prophet dying right away. Jesse Vash does head in mid. I think he went for something with a Firefly there. Doesn't work, though. We'll back off in the end. I thought he'd just be in the jungle. It's normally what we see from the Asian teams, but he tries to go for, I guess, the rune and pays.
Right, I didn't even see what happened. I mean, usually the Furions will, have the Treants ahead of them. There wasn't even a rune bottom. The SD got the Illusions top, so there was no rune involved in that first blood. Usually, Furion will send his Treants to scout or, creep pool like he did, and, he's usually in a pretty safe position. You should just stay at the tower. Slight error in him giving up first blood, so it looks like top is just free farm for Tiny. There's no contest up there. Bat has opted to just, creep sack in jungle at this point.
Free farm Tiny, and I assume free farm Gyrocopter. He's 6-0 so far. Nobody really last hitting perfectly, and that bottom lane, although they got the first blood, they push it right into the tower, so WW quickly gets level 2. And they're thinking about an Ice Path. Nope, just a dual breath, not even going to hit the hero. This tri-lane has a lot of kill power. Normally the issue with Homie Missile is Well, you can't really count on it actually hitting them before they just run away. You can just walk back, and even if it does hit you eventually, it's not going to be enough to kill you normally. But with Fissure and Ice Path, they can actually set this homing missile up. So sometimes the skill you'll see players skip when they're getting that safe lane farm. But in this game, he levels it up, and I think it's a really smart choice.
We see a 1-1-1 build from KYXY, 1 Shadow Strike, 1 Blink, 1 Scream. He may keep Shadow Strike at level 1 depending on the lane. He grabs the Invis Rune bottom with his bottle.
And the Night Stalker mid, he's 9-2. He's actually winning this lane, and for me it goes back to that superior creep block as well as the quick bottle. You can actually farm quite well spamming Void, and it hurts a hero like Queen of Pain who's very squishy. I mean, he's not keeping Queen of Pain out of the lane by any means, but breaking even, Night Stalker's going to be happy with that.
Definitely. So looks like, you know, there's just there's smoke gank from Shadow Demon and Rubik up top.
Yeah, this is a pretty powerful kill combo because they have that Soul Catcher, but Night Stalker retreats into the jungle. I wonder if this one was called. Either way, he's played it safe. Nope, maybe just farming the safe camp here right before it expires. May void this last creep, and nope, just not gonna, a little bit inefficient, not gonna make sure it respawns, but no big deal. And now they rotate the Earthshaker mid. Seems TnC was fully prepared for this movement from the Shadow Demon Rubik.
So we see an aggressive ward. Ice just played a ward on top of their hill, so you know they're going to be looking for any poor position by TnC to pick off an easy mid kill and just give Quap the really early game advantage that she needs to snowball.
Just to make sure nobody gets confused, that's actually Ice. Ice
oh,
has played for Orange, but he's playing for Zenith in this event. Yeah, no big deal, but some people will get very confused very quickly. They were playing on the same team
with the same
earlier,
names.
so.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, the only thing better than Ice is Ice, Ice. So there you go. Yeah.
So my bad on that confusion.
No problem.
So Rubik and SD still decent levels, 2.5 compared to level 3 from the supports on Radiant side. Jakiro and ES still getting decent levels. They're giving all the farm and the experience in the lane to Ninja Boogie, who's on Gyrocopter right now.
And he's up to 1,300 gold. It looks... Boy, we've seen a lot of Midas rushes lately, and this looks to be one as well. If you weren't going to rush it, you'd probably get those boots at this point. What is Tiny going for? He goes for, just some stronger, laning items. Also the early Rune of Basilius, which suggests they want to push this lane. In comes the movement mid. It's a double damage Bat Rider, but he comes in at pretty much the exact wrong moment. And now we'll be Shadow Struck and forced back a little bit. You don't want to trade blows with Bat, especially not with the DD. 3 heroes mid. I feel like the Night Stalker's fine mid. I'm not sure why they're sending so many heroes here. It seems like too much attention for a lane that doesn't need it.
Right, it looks like they're trying to push a T1 on top. There's 3 heroes there. Glyph is used by Radiant, and they're using their AoE spells to kill these melee creeps, but looks like Batrider's headed up there right now, but I'm not really sure if he can contest this. If he gets disrupted and no one TPs in, that's a certain death for him.
I guess the good news is if he dies, First Blood was already given up by the Prophet, so not the end of the world, but something you want to look to avoid. Middle lane, there's almost a fissure from Earthshaker. He does have his boots. He's actually level 4. I guess the mid pulls, or the mid farming those small camps really paying off. Batrider, like you said, just can't contest it. He recognizes it. He tries to slow down the push. And it will be last hit most likely by Yamate. He's waiting. He gets it. Pretty easy to last hit those towers with Tiny, but an important one. Now he's up to 1,300 gold. I'm not sure what build to go for. Will it be that ganker Tiny with the Blink Dagger, maybe the early Arcanes, or will it be that carry Tiny? It seems like he's more of a one position the way they land him, but I think either could be viable. What would you go for?
I don't know. It all depends on really how this nighttime develops. Like, nighttime is just a totally different game for Night Stalker. So, if he plays aggressive, he won't be able to farm the extra 500 gold that he needs for his Blink. So it really just depends on how this next few minutes go for him. He's probably saving up his gold. Just, he could go Arcane right now if he needs to, which would probably be better if TnC decides to roam around a lot. But fast Blink if, they decide to not play aggressive. But we see Night Stalker already moving top. Rubik picked up an Invis Rune, and they're looking to play aggressively right now. They have the advantage from bottom from the First Blood, so they're just looking for any easy kills on the supports that are out of position. Maybe catch Furion in the jungle.
Look at all the stacking going on. We haven't seen the Ancients get stacked yet, but that's something Tiny eventually can kill them with Ags. Oh, Jesse Vash is going to get caught top lane. It's that Invis from the Rubik. Now the Avalanche Toss combo. Who needs Soul Catcher? Easy kill, and he does go for Phase Boots. Now the Drums next in line with the Robe of the Magi picked up. Hey, I guess you don't really need the Arcanes too badly if you're fighting a kill. Could maybe throw you a Clarity here or there. But this first nighttime, still no kills from the Night Stalker, not really finding the openings.
A very well-positioned ward middle. Well, like, if they saw him go to top rune, then Rubik was able to scout him out with his invisibility. And because they have that ward and ward there, they can see exactly where Night Stalker goes. You know, even if he TPs, they can most likely see him. So they're very prepared, Oranges, for Night Stalker's nighttime roaming. He almost has his power treads. He has his belt of strength and stash, and he might get his treads before he starts running around.
Yeah, you pretty much have to TP gank in this situation. Either that or the supports have to deward. Oh, wow! KYXY. Man, there was no time to react. Blinks in, screams, and ults immediately. Big solo kill. And that was with Earthshaker City behind him, looking to protect him.
Yeah, it's really great move by Quap. They're shutting Night Stalker down. It's almost been 2 minutes of nighttime, and he hasn't really accomplished anything. You know, that's really where Night Stalker shines, especially when you solo mid. He's going to be one of the highest levels in the game, and he's just really a great force to be reckoned with. They really need to capitalize on this opportunity, this first nighttime.
He's really not the best solo mid unless you start finding those kills. He doesn't farm that quickly. He doesn't have any sort of amazing teamfight ability. The silence has a lot of utility, but it's not something like Reverse Polarity. It's not a Beastmaster Roar where you're guaranteed to be able to lock down a crucial hero later on in the game when BKBs come out. There's a haster on top. Will be some contesting of it. Jesse Vash gets disrupted, but with this haste, this could be the death of Ice. I don't know how he's going to live through this one. Gets pushed back in to the Firefly, and Jesse Vash really wants to find a kill. He's struggled this game so far. Will pick off Ice. No way Ice lives through this. Actually, almost dodged that one for a while. Now Extinct next in line. The support's begging for a bailout. Yamate wants to deliver it, but recognizes
that's exactly what they needed. In bottom lane, Gyrocopter actually picked up a Midas. Midas is so-so on Gyrocopter. Usually you get attack damage on him, not attack speed, because his flak is, you know, number of attacks, so attack speed doesn't really scale that well with him. But, you know, he did get free farm early, so you might as well capitalize on that if you can.
I guess the one thing it gives you no matter what is, I mean, first of all, that gold, but then the levels. He does... Whether you go for... Some players prefer to get stats and not really level up Rocket Barrage or Homing Missile, depending on the way the game's developing. I've seen some players skip one or either of them entirely, or just get 1 point. Some like to max it. Kind of depends on your lane and the way the game's developing. He's been left alone, so he maxes Flat Cannon. There was some stacking earlier, and actually I'm looking at these camps now. I see one big stack. I'd like to see more from TnC. It looks like they're putting a lot of eggs in the Gyrocopter basket. They're giving away free farm to a Tiny. The Quap got that solo kill mid. Tiny's got his drums up. Prophet's probably going to have a Midas soon. This Gyrocopter's got to carry pretty hard.
I definitely agree. Tiny's is, you know, getting absolute free farm top. Phase drums, and he already picked up that one kill on Bat that we saw earlier, so he's just pretty much uncontested. And T2's almost dead. It's like 1/3 HP right now. Jesse Vash, not even level 6 yet, almost 10 minutes in, but he should get level 6 from this wave right here.
Oh, here comes the Queen of Pain, the ult onto Cast. Cast gets picked off. Orange are just dissecting TnC right now. Really nice play, clinical movement from them. And also the aggressive wards, although it looks like they did manage to lose a Shadow Demon during that, but I guess a fairly even trade. But just so many heroes in that fight. If they could get this tower top, that would be a big victory. I want to point out, you mentioned Jesse Vash really doesn't have that much. The Blink isn't coming soon, and it feels like they need that Blink. Sure, they've got some initiation with Night Stalker and Fissure, but running into Orange is quite dangerous.
They really need a Blink on Bat, or, you know, a Blink on ES, or a great silence from Night Stalker to kill this Quap. This Quap is going to somewhat be an issue. He's 2-0 right now, very farm, 2 nulls, power treads. He's pretty difficult to kill, 1,000 HP, and even if they do focus her, they have Disrupt to save her in case she does get focused very heavily.
It's a lot of heroes grouped up mid, but still the tower stands. WW boldly heads towards the bottom lane. I think it's his Midas on the way. Oh no, it's a mech. He's rushing that quick mech, now TPing out bottom. No Quelling Blade, no Tangos and Ryo, unable to get that Night Stalker before that Prophet before he TPs away. And now the push commences mid. Rubik up to the top lane. Where is our Tiny? Tiny at bottom, just waiting for an opening here. I'm not sure. Maybe trying to find a kill, but just sitting back for the moment.
Right. I don't think they're going to fall for it, though. They have that ward, you know, well placed for Gyrocopter, so he can farm safely. And then, yeah, spots out the Tiny, and there's very little chance that this gank is going to go successfully for Orange.
I wonder what Ninja Boogie's going for. I expect a BKB. There's a lot of magic damage. I do love Aghanims, but it's normally not that viable, especially in this game where he's just being you know, the way they're developing the game with the early Midas, it looks like he's being asked to hard carry. Yamate charges in, is going to avalanche and tossing him back into the team. But there comes the call down. This fight could be turned around potentially. Ninja Poki has another nuke. He's doing a lot of damage to both. Are they really both going to live with no HP? It looks like they will. Yamate has another toss, blinks it out. Yamate with 30 health. WW with barely any, and that's going to be the mech momentarily. No, he dies to the Bat Rider, just clips him with the Flame Break. Now WW trying to run away. On the other side of play, Queen of Pain picks off the Jakiro. The chase is on. The Prophet wants to TP, but Lasso is here. I don't know if it's quite enough damage. He may be able to TP after. Nope. It's close. He does get away. Wow, and now the chase onto ice. Just so much action. It's like the armistice is over, and everybody has a gentleman's agreement to begin that relentless aggression. Score now 6-5. Goldgraph says dead even. Experience Graph also says dead even. What's your take on the game right now?
So, first night has just ended. Night Stalker, he probably could have done more. 4 kills is so-so. Ninja Boogie, interestingly, going for an attack speed build with Treads and Midas, which is very atypical. Normally we see like phase drums, some move speed build, or, you know, just a lot of damage from HOD so you can ancient stack. To catch up in farm, you know, TnC really needs to start utilizing stacks, as you said earlier. Ancient stacking looks like a attempted kill on KYXY middle, but, you know, it is nighttime. His killing potential is heavily nullified by that. So, yeah, they really do need to start stacking, you know, stacking large camps so that Bat can farm his Blink. He's still 1,500 away. And, you know, start stacking this ancient camp so that Gyrocopter can get the items that he needs.
Yeah, and you know, something else to mention is Night Stalker is actually getting fairly close to a BKB of his own. Orange don't really have, they have Demonic Purge, but you can't purge everyone. These multiple BKBs could be an issue, especially because Tiny doesn't have those big damage items yet. There's no Agonibs up, there's no Yasha. They're not there yet, and there are going to be other targets, but a BKB Night Stalker as well as Gyrocopters, something you just have to run away from until that Tiny gets fat. So let's see if they can complete them. They don't have them yet, but they're getting pretty close. Oh, bottom lane, they jump in on cast. KYXY is just picking on this poor Earthshaker, but chooses not to go in, or actually just wants to take the long route around. Oh, he gets fissured, and now the enchant. Oh, the echo comes out. Cast will pick up the kill in exchange for his own life. Totally worth it, if you ask me. Overextension from KYXY. Now the Night Stalker just mauling away at WW, who looks to TP out. There is a void, cancels the TP, waits until the last second, but prevents it, and then picks up the kill. What a play from the Earthshaker. He dies, but he takes the co-op down with him.
A very good play by Earthshaker. He was very ready for the echo. Looks like the Night Stalker is going to pick up a kill on Extinct in middle.
Yeah, no chance for Extinct to get out. And all, you know, the actual first night didn't work, and all of a sudden it's just like a feeding frenzy for Ryo. Yamate trying to TP out. That void, will it cancel another TP? No, he gets away just in the nick of time. Ice trying to run away. The Rocket going to follow him back to Fountain just to be kind of a nuisance. I think actually if you buy back and a rocket's traveling towards you, it'll start targeting you towards Fountain. Just something weird I think I've seen before. I don't know if that's a bug or if they fixed it, but Ryo in the middle lane trying to run away. He gets so catchered up. He's had a good start. Cast is here again with the fissure and the ice pad. KYXY blinks into the ice pad. Will it be enough to bring him down? That would be such a huge kill. No, they can't quite do it. Here comes Bat, pushes him in, has the lasso. Queen of Pain blinks forward. Manly play from this Queen of Pain. Or womanly play, perhaps, is the more appropriate way to put it. Jesse Vash, he's got the lasso. He'll poke KYXY in, who looks to die again. That's going to be... No! Blinks away. Gets to safety. That could have been the second death for the Queen of Pain in a matter of mere minutes, but doesn't in the end. They're fighting without the Gyrocopter and the Tiny on either side, so the carry's mostly just farming through all this. 9-9. Such a back-and-forth game.
A very nice aggressive play by this co-op. She's definitely doing her job. You know, killing that Night Stalker early and just putting constant pressure on TnC supports and this Night Stalker too when it's daytime.
Oh, that mid tower's in deny range. Double TP comes in. There's no glyph. Earthshaker wants it. Hero Earthshaker. Man, Cast is really playing well this game. Gets the Queen of Pain kill earlier. Had quite a nice fissure to help delay the aggression mid. Gets the tower deny. Had some help for that one. But the tower does fall, and that's going to create a little more space for this Prophet, Queen of Pain, and Tiny to try and set up some kills around the map. How is Gyrocopter doing as far as farm goes? 1,400 gold on him. Hasn't turned the Ogre Club into anything yet. I wonder if it's maybe something besides a BKB, because he's got the money for the Mithril Hammer if he wants it. We'll see. Just got that money with that Midas use.
It looks like a co-op might be opting for a Lincoln's Rush. Lincoln's will block Night Stalker spells and Lasso, which are both pretty important spells to block. So she might be going for Sheep. She's picked up the ultimate aura for the great stats, but we'll see what item she goes for first. We normally see Scepter rushes, I believe, but she definitely might need a Linken's this game, especially with her highly aggressive play.
Yeah, we'll see. It's I mean, it won't be the fastest Linken's. If she goes for it, what are we looking at? Like 23 minutes, 24 minutes, probably. Maybe a little bit sooner than that. Maybe 22. And normally,
so we see a smoke from Orange.
Yeah, they're gonna head towards Ryo. They have the whole team here. Smoke will be dispelled. They pretty much know where he is. In fact, they have an observer, so they spotted him going in. He gets disrupted right as the TP is about to complete. Soul Catcher not cooperating, lands on the creep, but they don't need it. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Yamate's in a little bit of a pickle, has the Manta. No sign that he's going for a BKB, despite there being Lasso on the field. No Blink Dagger up, so not overly worried about it. That early Manta. I mean, even just the Yasha is so cost-effective on Tiny. Helps address his low agility gain, gives him that armor, and just helps you to chase. It's a pretty awesome item for him, and obviously it builds into something even better. He's good. Oh, Jesse Bash! Oh boy, he was not prepared for that.
Jesse Vash is trying to farm his Blink, it looks like, but he's getting no room to breathe with his Tiny, just trying to slay him at every possible opportunity.
Yes, over. It's starting to pull away a little bit for the Dire, and they do have quite a few heroes who scale towards the late game. And the Queen of Pain, the Prophet, whether it's a Hex or Linken's, eventually this Queen of Pain can do a nice job of kind of kiting that Gyrocopter, locking him down. Maybe you Hex him. He's got the BKB coming out soon. I feel like TnC right now, it's a little bit more pressure on them with the Dire advantage, having that Roshan access, and also just the fact that it's pretty much up to the Gyrocopter to do damage later on. There's not going to be anyone else who can really dish it out.
He really hasn't been involved in many fights at all. We've seen, even Tiny and Qua, both, both late game heroes from Orange, still contributing a lot to these mid game kills. Gyrocopter has been playing very passive. I guess he wants his BKB before he starts fighting. Night Stalker is still pretty far away from his BKB as well. He needs 1,000 gold, but next nighttime should hit very soon here.
Yeah, he hasn't really used Darkness too much. I think only once or twice. In fact, it's only level 1, and he's 12. A little unusual. Sometimes we see players skip the level 1 ultimate, but to not have that second point in it at level 12, something you don't normally see, but he should have it by the time that second nighttime hits, more or less. And they go.
Looks like Yawanta is building his point booster, probably going for a Scepter before he completes Manta. Looks like a T2 push. Bat is smoked though.
Yeah, he's smoked up, but what is he gonna... Oh, he's gonna start with the Firefly. Does anybody see this coming? Oh, Ice is fully aware of it. He's scouting him out. Jesse Vash pushes him back in. The Cavalry have arrived. The backup is here. Rocket leading the way, driving everyone back. The artillery support coming in. Ice gets caught. Ice will fall. Purges Chen to make sure that he can't chase forward more. Jesse Vash, the Firefly, running out. Ryo chasing on. Oh, Gyrocopter uses 10-second BKB charge. Something he probably didn't want to do there. They only get one kill off of that. Still, getting the kill is nice. They defend the tower, although it is quite low, but really want to hold on to those BKB charges.
So it looks like Furion's just pushing out middle. Looks like they're probably going to... Orange is going to take a step back from their aggressive play since it is nighttime now.
Yeah, this Prophet, he got the early mech. I feel like he hasn't quite had that impact they were looking for from him. He hasn't got a chance to use it too often. I think in that fight, maybe he didn't have mana to really come in and heal anyone, but we just haven't seen him be too active around the map, and he hasn't gone for the farming build either, so it's a little bit at cross purposes, but Yamate gets caught out. That's a lot of magic damage. BKB not... for good measure, why not? Let's throw an Echo Slam into the mix. Extinct now trying to run away. The Ice Path catches him, barely dodging it is Ice. Once again, the Purge on Chen. Ninja Boogie trying to use that flat count and attacking creeps to try and hit Extinct, not quite able to land it on him. Still Fox chasing. Here comes the heal. WW gets involved, helps to keep him alive. In fact, Fox may be the one to play. Meanwhile, it's Ice getting chased away. No disruption. Should fall to those auto attacks. Will fall. And all in all, it looks like TnC are just having more heroes at the point of attack. Extinct now likely to be picked off. WW falling as well. Orange, one by one, they all get picked off. And this was what Orange was doing earlier this game. TnC, really a great team fight from them.
Oh, that was a complete team wipe by Orange. First started by Yamata, a little bit overextending, trying to go for that gyrocopter kill, getting trapped by that fissure into an ice path, and then, it was just all downhill from there, especially during nighttime. Night Soccer can just pick off any of the support heroes. They're very far away from any sort of tower. They just really want to get that T2. It only has 200 HP left, but a little bit of overextension there, and it cost them dearly.
And it's also going to give Gyrocopter, with that Midas, it's really starting to kick in now, up to 2,400 gold. Perhaps more importantly, he's level 14, and he has gone for mass stats. He's looking rather tanky now for a Gyro, sitting on 1,300 HP, a lot of plus strength, as you can see. I wonder what he goes for next. Does he go for that raw damage? He's got the BKB. Don't really need something like a Manta Style at this point, but what do you go for? We'll have to wait and see. He's getting the gold up. Still Orange, they have access to the Roshan pit. They still have decent map control. And it does seem like TnC, the one thing they're really lacking right now is some vision around the map. They've got a couple of observers up. Well, as I say that, the one top dies, but it kind of limits how aggressive they can be. And this is that second nighttime. They want to be finding those kills.
Right, so the gold graph is actually very close to even, considering the tower count is 4 to 2, it looks like. 3 T1s down and 1 T2 down for TnC, and 2 T1s down for Orange. And it looks like Orange is heading top, trying to just, get this last 219 HP down on this T2 tower. Everyone's headed there right now.
Well, the first time we saw a BKB used just to get a Shadow Demon kill, once again it's Bat Rider working his way through the trees. Now he's got his blink. Sure, it's late, but it's still a Bat with a blink. And even if they kill him when he jumps in, if he can lock down a crucial hero, allow the team to get a good initiation, totally worth it. And this is going to force Orange back. I actually don't know if they've seen the blink yet, but...
ES also has his blink.
Oh, wow. Double blink. And they smoke immediately. A good time to get aggressive. This one was not spotted. It looks like Orange, they have an observer in a pretty nice spot, but in fact, it looks like it's just out of sentry range, but no.
TnC actually dewarded their one top. They probably didn't want to push with the push without any vision of them, especially during nighttime. Just very, very dangerous.
Yeah, Orange did get that D-ward off, and Ninja Boogie has the Yasha up, so it looks like a casual Yasha, one of the most cost-effective items you can get. We'll see if it goes into a Manta. Tiny opted to go back for Point Booster. He's almost got his Ags. If these heroes are equally farmed, do you give the edge to Tiny as far as who can outcarry the other late?
It should be pretty even. I'm curious as to see what Gyrocopter builds next. So he doesn't really actually have any damage right now, right? He has plus 24 damage, 16 from his Yasha, a couple from Magic Wand and stats, but I mean, he really doesn't have that much damage, and actually all 24 of it is from BKB, but he does have some extra agility, so he doesn't actually do that much damage in team fights. We really need to see him get some damage items to see the true carry potential of Gyrocopter.
I mean, when it gets to late game and that flat cannon is ready to unload, it is scary. The carries may live, Tiny may not die right away, but the issue will be the collateral damage. We see that Rubik, he's got double bracer, he's not that squishy, but if the supports drop, then you're looking at a 5v3, whereas for Tiny, he also has a lot of burst, but it's not quite as long range. He really has to be able to get in close to set up those kills.
So KYXY has his ultimate orb. He's sitting on 3,300 gold right now. He's very close to his sheep if he decides to go for that. He has his Lincolns already if he wanted to go for Lincolns, so that makes me think that he's going for sheep.
Sheep, at this point, there's a BKB up on the Gyrocopter, but lots of other, and the Night Stalker, but still some other good targets. Also, if you're quick on the trigger, you can get the jump on them before they can use that BKB. I feel like...
One thing TnC lacking is vision, though. They only have that one ward in middle. They're trying to look for, ganks during nighttime, but they don't really have any opportunity. They have Blink Lasso. They can pick heroes off very, very easily, but they're just not finding the window to do so.
That second nighttime is ending fairly soon. Night Stalker will pop his ult again, extending that night by a little bit longer. Another 50 seconds for him. Soon he's gonna have that level 3 ult, and that's where the third nighttime is gonna last. Like an extra, I think it's 6 or 7 minutes. It lasts a lot longer. So the second nighttime almost done. Then Orange will have more of a window. Maybe we'll see them go for Roshan. In fact, they see the TP's top, and immediately the pains. They want to go. Well, at least the one pain I saw went towards Rosh. But will they actually go for it? Not sure. Oh, and tower was denied top, but nonetheless, it finally falls. That tower stood for quite a while.
So we see some heavy, heavy pinging around the Roshan area. We have one guy blinking, one guy TP, and I don't know, even if they had a ward there, they wouldn't see this action. So, TnC, they have that ward in the middle, so they're probably like, why are all these heroes around there? So I think they suspect that they're going to Roche, and Gyro is making his way from top, and NS is probably going to go from bottom, but, Roshan's already at half HP. I don't think they're going to get there in time. because they're not extremely confident that they're doing it right now.
This is also this is a pretty big window for Orange. That second nighttime about to end. They're gonna get the Aegis uncontested. They're gonna contest it now, but it's too late, I think. Maybe they can find a pick to start this fight. Roshan falls, Quap grabs the Aegis, everybody runs the hell away. KYXY is gonna be disrupted in the middle of a lot of damage, now fissured. The Aegis already used up. The Purge on Ninja Boogie, blink in. Echo on Yamate, who doesn't have the Aegis, normally the one you'd expect to see get it. He pays, he dies, despite getting the Roshan. Just a great engage from TnC. They get 2 kills. Crucially, they get a kill on the Tiny, and they force out the Aegis.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. And Quap had her sheep, but it didn't really seem to do that much that fight. The BKB, Gyro had his BKB up before she was able to pull it off on him, and he just, you know, demolished those heroes that was right next to him.
And, you know, Tiny he got locked down by the Earthshaker and just wasn't really able to do anything. You know, you talked about how Tiny doesn't normally go for a BKB. He doesn't have one yet. It's feeling like maybe he does. Oh, Ninja Boogie, after such a nice fight, gives away a kill. Not something you really want to see. I think TnC is still happy overall with the past couple of minutes of play, but you know they got to tighten the bolts a bit. Carry Tiny. If you lose a fight to him, the big issue is he kills your entire base probably in a minute or two, and then you're in a position where you can't come back. So, got to be careful.
So TnC getting a little bit sloppy. They just had Gyrocopter get picked off middle. Fox as THG just gets picked off bottom. Looks like they might try and take out another tower with that. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. The tier 2 mid is, well, no, the lane not really fully pushed. They TP Yamate top, and the Shadow Demon here to protect him. So I guess Orange gonna play the waiting game. This is a game that's looking like it could go fairly late.
Definitely. The problem with BKB on Tiny is he can still get lassoed, and it doesn't prevent any of you know, flat cannon damage, which is going to be a very large damage output to come you know, 40-45 minutes of the game. Right.
But if you don't get the BKB, then maybe you have to be worried about. TnC don't have an amazing kiting lineup aside from the Batrider, but they still got Fissure, Echo, Ice Path. It's a lot of stuns.
Right, he has a lot of things to worry about. Like, you know, he can't get locked down by ES just like he did last fight, or he's going to be completely useless. And that was with the Aegis too. So, you know, Orange seemed to have the upper hand with the items. They just recently got a sheep. You know, they had the Aegis, but you know they got pretty much 3-0'd. Aegis counting as one of the kills.
Yeah, and with that Aegis down, I wonder how they choose to play over the course of the game. Are they going to just wait for the third Roshan? They do have more heroes who scale well into the late game. Queta Pain, Prophet, and Tiny, all these heroes can be very powerful later on. The 2 natural Hex carriers, as well as the Tiny for your big physical down. Speaking of the natural Hex carriers, WW is getting close to one. He's got the Mystic Staff. He's like, I think 600, 700 gold away at this point. So they'll have double Hex, but again, there are BKBs. And now Reaver and Ryo, he's starting to get really tanky. And he's just probably going to be bull rushing Orange in these upcoming fights.
We usually see after BKB, we see like a Ag Scepter rush, or you know, Heart's actually pretty good in this. We see a smoke from Orange, we see SD and Quap and Rubik mid, and looks like they're heading top to try and get a kill on Fox or something.
Oh, this of all the heroes to find, they find Ninja Boogie immediately. The Queen of Pain ult comes out. Too much burst. I think he's dead here. And even Purge. They just want to make sure they bring him down. Ninja Boogie Metsubit fights. Maybe they can't bring him down. Unbelievable. They actually keep him alive. They get 2 kills, including the Quap. And that was with the Hex being used. Now Yamate. Orange is just crumbling. And TnC, a team who is yet to claim a win in the group stages, they have another big team fight. All the big team fights going their way, and that looked like the perfect opening for Orange. Orange undefeated so far in the group stage, despite being without Mushi, but TnC take another big fight, and this is going to be a tower top.
Wow, that is definitely where the tanky Gyrocopter build, you know, pays off. They smoke inked them, they sheathed them, they used Demonic Purge, and they still couldn't take him down. And actually, you know, they had 3 deaths trying to kill this BKB Gyrocopter, so that was a very, very big win for TnC.
They have a Butterfly on him. He was actually hexed, which obviously removes that evasion, but when the Hex wore off and the BKB was used, they couldn't kill him because Tiny wasn't there. That's your physical damage, and he was in the top lane. It was, I think Orange just maybe didn't, I think the Butterfly was completed like as that gank began, and just something that they weren't really prepared for. So one of those things where everything hangs in the balance. You buy that, if he doesn't buy that item, he probably dies there. Maybe the fight goes a lot worse, but it works out well for TnC. If we check the gold graph, that spike up starts to happen. And this is where I think TnC feel pretty confident. They get the tier 1 top, they get a little more map control going back their way. The experience graph, it's an 8,000 experience lead, but at this point in the game, that doesn't really translate into that big of a level advantage. So still a game that either team could win.
Right, so it looks like we have a second sheet completed. They're trying to pick off Yamata again.
Did you? Oh, he blinks in, but it looks like the Craggy actually procced there and prevented the lasso. Now WW jumps forward. WW in the middle of the entire enemy team, just trying to help out Yamate. They get that Earthshaker. He has been such a pest in these fights, but he'll die first. In fact, no, it looks like they thought someone else was there, but nobody else in the end. Ninja Boogie, Yasha up on him. He went for attack speed, but you know, these items give a decent amount of damage. Butterfly gives you 60 damage when you include the agility. And Yasha gives, what is it, 16, so it's not too bad. He's starting to hit pretty hard.
He attacks very, very fast. We normally see Gyro stack damage, but again, his attack speed build, it looks like it's doing fairly well.
I mean, at this point, I think you can go for that damage item. Maybe you get lifesteal, but after that, you know, you get the Demon Edge, or even probably the Crystallis, and it's gonna hurt.
I'm glad that other players are thinking outside of the box. Normally we see the same builds over and over on the same heroes, like, you know, this tiny build is very, very common. Phase drums, very low speed in the Scepter. But, you know, I like Gyro doing different build and being pretty successful with it. Usually we see the HOD, Ancient Stack, just to, you know, just really ramp up his farm. But Midas seems to be doing the trick for him. And we see a gem pickup on the Shaker, just taking out any sort of offensive wars that Orange has out on the map right now.
Yeah, and they're getting, you know, this is important for them because Orange, they have, I think the Prophet Hex is up now. Yeah, it is. So they have the double Hex, and you don't want to get caught, sheeped up and picked off. Ryo, it looks like he's about to complete his heart. Oh, man. 3,000 health, 12 armor. He's going to hit pretty hard just because he's Night Stalker. He's got that Hunter of the Night attack speed, and he's got, I mean, not amazing damage, but it's not a hero you can ignore if you're Orange, and I'm starting to get concerned. I feel like they, you know, the Tiny's gonna get kited, and then nobody can kill these BKB carries except for Tiny. Oh, they catch him out again. They catch Yamate, blinking forward into the lasso, into the ice path, and the fissure. Hope he brought down. They're just finding all the pickoffs, and it's making the difference. Without that Tiny, Orange can't fight. Does he have buyback?
He just bought a Hyperstone instead of a Manta. You know, you kind of need Manta versus the Night Stalker Silence. We see him get silenced, and he just can't really do the Avalanche toss combo that he really needs. Then after that, they have Echo to lock him down. So he just bought a Hyperstone, probably translates into a Cuirass later, but he's still down for 45 seconds with no buyback. He has 500 gold in his bank right now.
Oh, there are Shakers here. He's got the Blink Fissure, but doesn't want to go in. Perhaps not sure if the Prophet's going to join that fight. And now the TP's out, and it's like the only safe place on the map, as there were heroes coming in from both sides, but the pincer movement takes a few seconds too long, and in the end, they do get out to safety. So Orange, with that split push, able to forestall the 5-man mid, and they do lose the tier 2 mid, but they hold on to the tier 3, they hold on to the Rax. It's the next Roshan coming soon, and we're going to see that delicate dance around the pit in the next few minutes.
We're going to see, you know, pretty much almost permanent night at this point, with Night Stalker being level 18 at this point. So it looks like they're trying to deward, deward bottom.
It's kind of crazy, actually, with that level 3 Night Stalker ult. If you do the math, it's, you know, it's basically only 40 seconds of actual night pass in between each darkness use, which is, it makes that night, it's so much longer. I forgot the exact math, but it's like an additional 7 or 8 minutes, something like that, somewhere in that area, maybe even closer to 5 or 6. It makes it really, really difficult. Because, you know, we saw that in the early to mid game is when it was daytime, some ganks failed for TnC. Orange had some more openings, but that window is shrinking a little bit. Ninja Boogie has a Manta up and another 1,200 gold. He's getting to that point. Oh, and a Helm of the Dominator. Just at this point, once he gets a damage item, I don't know. This might be too much.
He does not have a TP scroll on him, but, you know, Orange doesn't have any pressure. They have to TP back and defend this.
Oh, they do have Yamate here, but he reveals himself immediately. That's something to be a little worried about with the double blink and 4 Steph now up on the Bat Rider. But TnC showing some discipline, playing the safe. They force out the TPs. They back off. We'll see some good aggressive warding to help control that Roshan engagement that's coming. In fact, looking at TnC's vision, something we sort of pointed out earlier is they didn't have much to start the game, or in the mid game. They were a bit lacking on vision, but they've got a lot now, and it's a good time to have it with that 3rd Roshan coming up.
Especially with the gem. So it looks like Co-op is smoked, SD as well. SD actually has and a smoke, but the smoke just wore off. They weren't able to find any easy picks with Blink Sheep. Yamata's coming in from the right side.
And just farming. Oh, Jesse Vash is kind of trapped here. He blinks away. The TP's out. I don't think they quite saw him. They were expecting... It looks like setting up around Yamate just to kind of try and protect him, maybe bait out a bad engage from TnC, but TnC want no part of that. They're so defensive.
So I'm curious as to what Gyro's going to pick up next. He has mostly his utility items, Black King Bar, Manta, and Lifesteal, and Butterfly for the good attack speed, damage, and evasion. So maybe he can actually tank Tiny at this point. Gyrocopter just heavily outfarmed Tiny at this point in the game. If we look at the net worth graph, he's almost 8,000 gold ahead of this Tiny. So, with that large amount of farm difference, he should be able to outcarry him. And we see Ninja Boogie starting to tank Roshan. There is probably going to be a contest here, though.
Boy, is Batrider not the best hero to have in this situation? With the wards as well as the gem, he could just scout any sort of attempt out, even if they were smoked. He's going to blink in, but that was a bait. There's a disruption, or maybe it was a bait. In comes Tiny as well. Silence up from Ryo. It's daytime. He's got the ult. Surprisingly, he's not using it. Darkness lasts for a long time. Something you can pop a little bit early. Won't really matter. They're just buying time for the gyro. Roshan's dropping low. In comes Extinct. He's stolen Firefly. It's a Rubik on a broomstick, but he's not in time. He won't get the Aegis. And in the end, it goes to gyro. Did use the BKB for that. Boy, Merlini, I really want to see a Divine Rapier out of this guy. So much fun on gyro.
So we do see a gem pickup by Extinct as well. So both teams have gems.
Both teams have gems. There aren't any actual invis heroes. It's just all about that dewarding for both teams. But there's no need to deward at this point, aside from maybe up on the high ground on the Dire side. Jesse Vash looking to go in again. That late game lasso, it's actually, he's not level 16 yet, so it's got the 70-second cooldown. But once you get it to level 16, it's, you can easily use that twice in the fight, or even buy back and have it up ready to go again. Prophet tries to get that split push going, or Tiny rather does, but not able to in the end. Here comes, they gotta fight this. They're about to lose the tower. They start off a Ninja Boogie with the Hex. Remember, he's got the Aegis, and he's got a Butterfly and Lifesteal, so if they don't kill him off during that Hex, he comes back and starts healing back up pretty quickly. Once again, Extinct on the broomstick. It looks cute, but it's not accomplishing a whole lot so far. It's a decent sprout. Gyro Man's up. Look at him, just driving everyone back. It's like a Luna on steroids. And once again, Yamate, the one that gets caught, his dying breath. Ice will disrupt Yamate, but to what end? It's not enough. Peggy Big TnC looking pretty good here. Echo on two. Extinct probably to fall, is surviving, and stole lasso as well. This is what I'm talking about with Extinct. Such a hero on that Rubik so many times. Gyro's alive, but he's getting hexed. He's getting brought down. It looks like, oh, is he actually gonna die though? They gotta finish him off. They don't. Yamate thinks he's dead. It's an Ultra. Finally, he dies. What a back and forth fight. I don't even know who won that one. It's 4 heroes dead for TnC. They lose the Aegis. They buy back on the Gyro. Is that a win for Orange?
They did buy back for Tiny, but that is definitely a win. TnC definitely had the upper hand in the item advantage. Gyrocopter was very, very aggressive, though, pushing in between right next to those throne towers and the bottom T3. And Airshaker got a pretty big echo, but that Rubik play was very nice with the stealing the lasso and the broomstick Firefly.
It's just annoying. I feel like it was almost just TnC paying too much attention to it. Like, they focused a lot on him at first, and then, that started to ignore him, and that's when he really stole a big spell in the lasso.
Right, I thought it was going to be a very uphill fight for Orange, because they blew double sheep on Gyro, and he was just attacking tower with not a care in the world. He still had a 1,000 HP after that, and they probably could have just taken the racks without any contest from Orange. They can't really initiate without those sheeps, and no blink, no BKB on Tiny. He can't just walk in against all these BKBs and expect to win a team fight like that. So, pretty good victory for Orange right there.
Yeah, Ninja Boogie, like you said, really forced the fight. It was one thing to pop the BKB and to charge in a little bit, but he really got involved, and maybe that's okay because he did have the Aegis. Even if he dies once, not too big of a deal, but I think the bigger issue is the rest of the team kind of followed him in, and they got a little spread out. TnC, a team that would love for you to group up with Fissure and Ice Path and the Flat Cat, and they'd love to be fighting an orderly 5v5, but that's not really what it turned out to be, and I mean, maybe that's a situation where you just sit back and kind of let Ninja Boogie maybe lose the Aegis, but then he comes back to life, and if they try to go on him again, you counter-initiate with everything, and you really blow them up, but that's not how the fight developed.
We see smoke behind Ninja Boogie. We have one Invis hero and three smoked heroes.
Yeah, and, well, there's no real vision of this, but they gotta figure something's up. Do they fully know, though? There's still a split push happening top from Queen of Pain. She should be able to rejoin this fight soon. Ninja Boogie has a completed Satanic. In spite of the buyback, he just continues to accrue items at an alarming rate. He did sell the Midas, but it doesn't do too much for you at this point anyway. Getting towards that 6-slot point, only really 1 slot to complete before he's a max inventory jar, and perhaps wits to travel. Rack's getting Siege, he's got BKB, he's got Satanic, and this means if they don't kill him during those hexes, he'll be back to full health very, very quickly. That Satanic lifesteal absolutely redonkulous, but they haven't gotten the Rex yet, and now Orange have 5 on the high ground. Gonna be an interesting clash here. Oh, Jesse Vash maybe looking to lead it off. He's in Firefly, but not really going for any sort of surprise. He probably wants to jump on the Tiny, maybe the Shadow Demon, so there won't be a disrupt. They blink it, they catch Ninja Boogie. He's still surviving. 4 staff to safety, now turning around, unloads with the Satanic, just cleaving everyone down. The Rack's still alive. It's a huge amount of damage. Extinct doing some decent work. The Rax falls. Don't dive at TnC. You made this mistake before, or maybe not, because Tiny and Prophet are dead. So it looks like it's working out a bit better this time around. And also, they just don't have the hexes to deal with Ninja Boogie. Not the cleanest fight in the world, and it looked like it was maybe dangerous for TnC, but they take the Rax, and now, finally, at long last, it looks like they may be able to take this game.
That was a very, very nice force staff by Jesse Vash. If he didn't use that force staff on the Hex, Gyro, he would have died, wouldn't be able to pop his BKB, and wouldn't be able to heal up with the Satanic. So that's definitely what won them the fight right there.
Yeah, I mean, without him, they don't have that much damage. They have, a decent amount, I suppose, from Night Stalker. They have some nukes, but, Orange, they don't really die to the nukes. They're dying to that flat cannon. That's what's really doing them in, and like you said, it's often, we might see Gyro with the big net worth, we might see him with the big farm, 11-3 and 5 leading this game as far as kills go, but it comes down to that support play. Having those utility items up on supports is often even more important than having that carry with 5, 6 tier 4 items.
So it looks like they were able to get 1 melee Rax in mid and both Rax's bottom. Roshan still not up for another 4 minutes.
And Ultimate Orb picked up on Queen of Pain. Is anybody saving for buyback at this point? They're down 2 lanes of Rax. I think Orange, just gonna say, we gotta win a fight. We can't afford to be buying back anymore because we're just falling further and further behind this Gyro. He's getting too big. He's up to another 5k gold. This guy needs to work for the US government. That'll really balance the budget, man, I gotta say.
So it looks like Orange tries to smoke, but there's no heroes even close to top. Everyone's just sitting around mid, so, they're all just playing safely at this point. They definitely have the Rax advantage. Orange is just looking for an easy pick-off so they can get back in the game.
Jesse Vash is Fireflied up, trying to scout things out, looking for some openings. Not finding any. TnC, they have really been doing a good job of nobody spreading out too much, staying disciplined, staying close together. Orange now doing the same thing. The issue for them is they're doing it when they're down 2 lanes of Rax, so...
So we see a Crystalist pick up on Ninja Boogie, probably into a Daedalus soon, but he is smart. He is saving 3,000 gold. His buyback costs 1,700 at this point. He needs around 2,700 plus to have a buyback, so he doesn't actually want to buy his Daedalus yet. He's probably just going to save for buyback, and if he has like 5,000 gold, he'll just buy the Daedalus.
Yeah, I mean, Crystallis is a very cost-effective item anyway. Sure, Daedalus is a big upgrade, but as far as damage item goes, it's one of the best right up there with Yasha, which obviously doesn't give you as much damage, but gives you that move speed, attack speed. TnC now pushing top. This could be the death push. Orange got to fight this. And I want to say, they almost have to fight it outside of the base, or Gyro's just going to mow them down while attacking that tower.
The problem is Yamata is pushing bottom. He's pushing the T3 even against, they have a Rax down in that lane. He's still pushing the T3 tower. They might trade the T2 for T3, but it looks like Yamata might be able to sneak in this Rax before he has to TV back home.
Is it a base race? Is that what we're about to see here? Peggy Big aren't going to back off yet enough. They try to. It could be trouble. They catch out Shadow Demon while they're killing heroes. Orange just frantically trying to kill the base. It's base race time, baby. Here here we go. Who's going to get it first? TnC maybe should go straight for the throne, or we'll see how many heroes can TP away to safety. Do they? They don't. Orange are going straight for the throne. Peggy, big stop for the Rax. It could be a crucial mistake, not going straight for the throne. Echo from Earthshaker. He rejoins the fight. He gets back to safety. Ryo joins as well. Yamate doing the auto attack, but Ryo just out DPSing a late game. Tiny, God, he is farmed. He's got Assault Caress on the other side of the map. They haven't actually gone for the throne yet. Such a chaotic fight. Gyro's back. Gyro is here. The hero, the savior, on flying high in that helicopter. This old man might look weak, but boy, does he dish out the damage. Triple for him. And what looked to be maybe an opening for Orange just completely shut down.
Ninja Boogie, very smart selling his Trez and options for boost of travel because he really did need to be back home just to save his throne.
Oh, you. Of course it's a smart move to get boots of travel. This is Merlini we're talking about. It's never not going to be a smart move in your eyes.
So there's only one rack surviving on Orange side. It's a ranged barracks in mid lane with only 450 HP left. They're just hanging on by the hair of their chinny chin chin at this point.
There's not a whole lot of hair left. That's the problem. Getting a little bit bald here. That's scary though. When Night Stalker is just man-moding versus your Tiny and winning that fight, that's a problem. Normally it's, I mean, late game Tiny almost always is winning that fight, but this is a very big Night Stalker. In fact, he's got more net worth than the Tiny. And
Ninja Boogie actually picked up his data list. He does not have money for buyback, so if he dies right now, it could actually spell trouble for TnC.
That's maybe the one opening. Speaking of buybacks, Twin-Headed Dragon and Night Stalker are the only ones who do. No buyback on Queen of Pain or Prophet. You mentioned the Gyrocopter and none of those other supports. This is the final moments of this game, I think. Most likely, Ninja Boogie, that's the one they want. They're going to get him with the Avalanche stun. Here comes the chain combo. But Ninja Boogie, even though he's hexed up, the evasion, the raw HP, it's too much. And now it's just a headlong retreat from Orange. Get out of there, they say. Get the hell away from this guy. Somebody save me. Everybody's TPing out. The world is burning all around them. And he almost gets the kill on the TPing hero with the flat cannon. Not quite able to do so. KYXY will die. And I think this might just be it. The Hex is expanded. The BKB is on cooldown. Does he have buyback now? Yes, now buyback is ready. That's probably going to be game.
Wow, so we see a Gyrocopter just heavily outfarm. He's over double net worth of Tiny, and you just can't compete with that kind of outfarm.
Ninja Boogie just mauling. I look at his net worth. I actually want to check it again before the game. It's 32,000. That is some sick net worth. Oh man, he's farmed. Now he wants to be Lone Druid just for more items. Mega kill for him. And it's all just padding your stats at this point. TnC Gaming, a team that if they wanted to have a shot at moving forward into the day 2 action, into those knockout rounds, had to win this game. This was a must-win for them, and they get it. Orange, lacking Mushi, looked really strong coming into this, but just didn't have enough gas in the tank. They dropped their first match in Group B, and suddenly we have a ball game there.
Wow, what an exciting game. Ninja Boogie just, AFK farming for the first 15 minutes, but we definitely saw it pay off here.
Well, guys, this was a best out of 1. It's a group stage match. We'll take a look at the groups. I don't have standings for you, but Godzstudios Gamers joined Dota. I think Team Liquid as well are hopefully keeping Liquipedia as well as their websites for Godzstudios Gamers and Joy Dota up to date. So go check those sites out if you want standings. I will try to find out as much as I can during the break. But for now, that wraps it up for TnC Gaming. They keep the dream alive at least for a moment with this win. They notch their first win of the tournament and keep it going. On the side of Orange, a setback, but still a pretty comfortable position for them. I think they've already won 3 matches, so they're sitting at 3-1. TnC, I want to say 1-3. Maybe my math's wrong. I don't know. I don't know how many matches they've actually played. We'll find out soon. I think it's actually 2-1 and 1-2. So there you have it, guys. Stay tuned, though. We'll have one more series coming up later today. That final match is probably going to decide Group A, or at least throw it into a mix. It's not what you see here, actually, so let me not show you that. It's not RNG Esports versus Myth Trust. It will be MUFC versus Natural 9. If MUFC win that match, it will be LGD and MUFC moving forward. But if Natural 9 manage to pull the win out of the hat, we have a 3-way tie. Stay tuned for that. That'll be a very exciting match coming up later today. But for now, this is going to wrap it up for this cast. I'm LD. He's Merlini. If you enjoyed his casting, be sure to follow twitch.tv, facebook.com, twitter.com, and youtube.com, all/merlinidota. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll stay tuned. We have one more match coming up before the Asia's done for today.